Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Jamming Tower podcast. These are coming out exactly as we planned and definitely not delayed for any particular reason. Over to whichever direction you think is left, it's me, and over to whichever direction you think is right, it's Mirdo.
That's not how directions work.
Oh, is it not? Stage right. Mirdo, I enjoy the fact we both have displays of clothing hung up in our backgrounds.
Yeah,
that's pretty fun.
It's a great background, isn't it?
You've got a big baby on the way.
No? Oh, I get it.
So for context,
Good
chat,
job.
if you haven't seen the vlog already, link will be in the description. I'm expecting a child in March next year. That's kind of crazy. This guy is going to be a dad. What the hell? Could you imagine a guy who thinks it's appropriate to wear a snuddy on a podcast is going to be a dad? That's
finally I can call you daddy in public, and nobody will bat an eye anymore.
Okay, Charles Boyle, thank you very much for that. Mirdo, how have you been since the last podcast?
Can you tell we're both rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
We're on the same episode as well, which is kind of weird. Like, you're not far off anyway.
Yeah, the other day, we're like, we talked while watching F1, and Liam was like, "Oh, I'm at this episode." I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm in the same one." Yeah.
Come.
Yeah, I've been good. No, I've been not. I've been sick, actually. That's a lie.
I've been alright.
Yeah, so
we're sick.
I've came back from Gdansk as I usually do. I need to start wearing masks at regionals again. Because
You came back from Gdansk like you usually do. I suppose that one time where you didn't.
Well, I didn't that one time.
No, you didn't get there. That was the issue.
No, I also was stuck an extra day.
Yes, you did. You're right. Oh my god.
Yeah. So for everybody not known, last year we had really bad winds. Mm-hmm. So I came in late. Like midnight, I think, or 1 a.m. I was in our place.
Yeah, yep.
And the flight back I also couldn't take because I was also cancelled. So I had to spend an extra day in Poland. So
Gdansk had really bad winds. I didn't have bad wind. Mirdo may have, I don't know. He doesn't speak for me.
But yeah, what I meant to say is I came back sick. I need to start wearing masks at regions again. I forget. Because I always come back with like a bad cold and it's the worst. Yeah, so I was sick for a bit. I did work for most of the week last week. Then I took off some time for the weekend because that worked better for like my job. And now we're here, and I'm recovering well. I think I'm done now with the whole thing. Was still off today, but I'm back tomorrow. So
hell yeah. And as for me, I've not really had too much going on. I've been working as hard as ever. Today's been one of my biggest days. I had 7 walks to do today. 4 of them were 60 minutes back to back, which was insane. I've done over 25,000 steps today. So as you can imagine, my feet are just very sore. That's why I'm straight to pajamas. I'm like, I'm not doing anything for the rest of the day. But yeah, it's been good. Like again, like I say more often than not these days, it's a good problem to have being this busy. I wouldn't usually do 7 in a row either. Like usually 6 walks is my limit, but I had 1 moved from Monday, then Thursday actually. I've had 1 move from Friday, so that's now a busier day than I expected. So yeah, it's cool. Also had I walked a dog that I haven't seen in ages. It's happened twice, actually, in the last week, where I've thought to myself, while driving, and of course I thought to myself, you can't think to anybody else, but I thought while I was driving, I was like, I haven't heard from this owner in a while, or I haven't heard from this owner in a while. Both of them contacted me at the end of the week looking for dog walks. I was like, what the hell's going on? That's so weird. I summoned work, so if there's dogs I like, I need to start thinking about them a bit more, so they might come back. But yeah, it's a bit mad. Also, if you wonder what that noise is, that's our cat burying his food under a paper bag. Because he thinks burying it will hide it from the boys, but the boys will come charging and eat it in a minute. And now he's sitting on it, which is great. Thanks to the noise, Beans. Thanks to the audio texture.
House.
Oh my god. He's ridiculous. Anyway, so it's been mostly work. And I have... And this will segue later, really. It's not really a segue. I suppose it's a stretch to
Prepare.
Yeah, it's a. We've just called the Uber.
We're doing foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. That's it. Yeah, we've called the Uber to the bit, and the bit will be later. I actually ended up watching a little bit of Sunseed Jess, who, if you don't know, she is the Yu-Gi-Oh! European champion from 2023.
Oh,
I think that's right. Oh, you didn't know who that was when I said it? Oh, okay.
No, yeah. So right.
So
we'll talk about that now.
So they tweeted that they were playing a Pokemon tournament, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I checked the stream tab on my thing, and nobody there. So I was like, oh, maybe it isn't mine. Checked any other active Pokemon streams, and it's like, oh, nobody's there. So I thought, I'll just go onto a Twitch link and find it. She's streaming my tournament. It was awesome. I was like, oh, that's so cool. So they've recently made the swap. I don't know if they've swapped to Pokemon, but they've started playing a lot of Pokemon. And it's really fun to watch like newer players who already know what they're doing to some degree because they played card games, and the skills can be transferable. It's fun watching somebody like that play the game and explain how they're playing and stuff like that, especially when it's running your own tournaments as well. And it really gave me the bug again to start playing. And I already had a little bit of I do like the TCG, but like watching them, it's like, oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to see like other people enjoying the game again, and it kind of got me back into it. So, but again, we'll talk more about that later. That's kind of how we've been. We also have news. We're going to be doing this a bit more structured. Hopefully, we literally rushed this evening because we've been, like I said, I've been busy all day, so I've not had a chance to do any structuring. I think Mirdo's written down his plans for what he's talking about later, so that's good. Anyway, news. Legends ZA, the DLC, we all expected not to be here until after Christmas. That's been announced for December 10th, which is soon. It's less than a month for time of recording. Really cool, really excited, looking forward to it. I've not probably deep dived into it, but a lot of people have said it's basically a roguelike in how it's going to be played. So you don't just like go to the dimension and hang out in the dimension. It's a case of like you have to like bake biscuits or cookies or whatever it is with like different stats involved, and then that interacts with like what Pokemon you'll run into and other stuff. So that was really cool. On top of that, we also have it's not been confirmed, but let's be real. Hopefully we'll have the image on the podcast in a minute. Groudon and Kyogre, I think, have been confirmed for that for that DLC as well, which will mean the primal versions are coming out, which is cool because I've not had access to them my entire time I've been playing Pokemon. So
really?
Yeah, I've never actually played with either of them, so I'm quite excited to see those in the game. We've had 2 new Megas revealed. One is Mega Chimecho, or Chimecho, depending on how you pronounce it. Very cool. Very excited about that. It looks like whoever designed Totodile, or whoever designed Mega Feraligatr, thought, I didn't do a very good job here. So I'm going to go for Mega Chimecho instead. And it looks really good. It looks like a wind chime version of Chingling in a way. It looks really good. And then Mirdo's new favorite Pokemon, which will allow you to attach a water energy from hand to any of your water Pokemon as a card, but it'll double it. Mega Baxcalibur has been announced, which feels illegal. Like a Gen 9 Mega already feels so wrong, but it looks like Baxcalibur, but
it looks like an idiot.
It does like
He's
an
such an idiot.
I
love him.
How do you feel about the 2 Mega reveals?
I think Mega Chimecho, like genuinely really cool design. And I'm glad that like Chimecho, obviously one of the ones that's like never got an evolution, got a baby form, but like competitively always really, really bad. I doubt that the Mega form will fix any of that, but you know, it's cool that I always like when like one of the lesser Pokemons get little bit of something, and the design's really cool. Mega Baxcalibur, I'm very happy for because I like Excalibur, and I think it's one of the more forgettable dragon ones, like the 3-stage dragons in design.
Does it come under a pseudo legendary?
I think people call it pseudo. I don't like that like distinction, but people call it a pseudo. Yeah,
I think it's because of the like base stat totals. I think they're like higher for the dragon Pokemon. Like Dragon has it, Dragonite has it. I think that's the case because one of the things I saw people complaining about Mega Baxcalibur was how are they going to add 100 base points to this without making it absolutely broken? And it's like, they've already done that to Dragonite, and no one's complaining about Dragonite. Mega Salamence, I assume, will have the same issue as well.
Right. Okay, so I looked it up what a pseudo actually is for people like me who don't know. Pokemon is a final stage of a 3-stage. Base stat total of 600 exactly. And levels up at a slow rate. So yeah, I guess Baxcalibur is the pseudo of the
every generation has one. I think it's always a dragon.
It's Dragonite, Tyranitar, Salamence, Metagross, Garchomp, Hydreigon, Goodra, Kommo-o, Dragapult, Hisuian Goodra for Legends Arceus, and Baxcalibur.
Yeah, so almost always a dragon then, because obviously Metagross isn't, and Tyranitar isn't, although you can mistake it for one.
Like I think in design it tends to be dragon.
Yeah, it is
adjacent
dragon-esque.
at the very least. Yeah.
It's like a big, big monster.
Yeah, so it's got to be pretty strong, most likely. And I do like Excalibur. I think the design's cool. I think Ice Dragon is a cool combination. And obviously, I like him a lot from the TCG, which is really interesting one. Where like, oh, I don't care for this Pokemon, but in the TCG it's cool. So I'm like, oh, I like this now.
I do like Pokemon that end up having like their counter as their type. Like Stunfisk is another one where it's like electric ground. I always find that quite interesting. I don't know why. Because like it's not like it benefits from anything really.
No,
but
I like wacky typings like that.
Yeah, it is fun.
But yeah. Baxcalibur looks stupid. I like him. It's because literally just like, how do we make this dragon cooler? And somebody's 10-year-old was like, let's stick a sword through it. And that's the design, and I love it.
It's an odd one.
He's so stupid.
If they wanted to go proper goofy with it, because it does seem like the generation of adding weapons to Mega Pokemon, they could have like had the sword removed and actually had it as like a dual wielding, not even dual wielding, like using it as like a proper Zweihander or something like that. That would have been really cool. I would have respected him for that move.
That's mega Baxcalibur then pulls out the sword out of itself. And
we're sure it's not like a future, like, I don't know, a Alolan version of Baxcalibur.
Alolan Mega Alolan Mega.
It takes the sword out of his chest, but the hole's still there. And he just got an image of like, it's a trailer, and then someone uses Hyper Beam on it, and it just moves, so it just goes through the middle, completely misses, and it returns with a swing of the sword. Like a crazy.
You are expecting a lot out of the hitbox makers on the Pokemon games.
That'd be so cool to do, though. I mean, they made. I mean, it's not quite the same because obviously I understand how hitboxes work, but it does work that way with alpha Pokemon in PvP, where like some of them are so big their beam moves don't actually hit the smaller Pokemon, and vice versa. Like they're such a big target that it actually is really hard for them to dodge other attacks. It's quite funny.
I've also I saw a post of apparently somebody hacked in like something that couldn't be an alpha to be an alpha, and somebody said, why would you hack in the less ideal version of a Pokemon? And like apparently like the meta in online is to not have small Pokemon, if I have to guess.
There was like a week, I think, where I've not paying too much attention to it, but Stunfisk was like the main Pokemon people were using because it's just flat, so people couldn't actually see it coming. It's the same logic people used to use with like playing gnomes in World of Warcraft, because even though they have the same hitbox and everything like that, like that doesn't make any difference. It takes you longer to spot the little gnome than it does the big night elf, and you're like, oh crap, there's a gnome there. Holy, where did they come from? Oh my. But yeah, so the Mega Dimension looks really cool. Really look forward to playing more of that. I keep joking about it, but every time I think I'm done with ZA on stream, it's like, and now for some more. On top of that, with the news as well, there was a new side mission that came out for Diancie and Mega Diancie. Basically, it was a case of, if you haven't got this already, and this is news to you somehow, you go to Mystery Gift and receive via internet on Legends ZA, you get a Diancie site, and then that unlocks a side mission. It does not pop up on your map. So if this is news to you, it doesn't pop up on your map. You need to go to the Looker Bureau, and the mission is in there via the Esper. And it takes less than 15 minutes to do. I did it on stream. It's not a big one at all. And apparently it is usable in PvP. So if you care about that, there you go. On top of that, we have Pokopia announced date as well, which again, I was not expecting to hear anything from this for a while. And it is interesting as well, because I do wonder if this coincides a little bit with, because Pokemon feels like one of those companies where they don't release a game no matter what the lane is, say TCG or whatever, at the same time. So Pokopia has been announced for March 5th, and before we talk about that a little bit, we still don't have a release date for Pokemon Champions, and at the moment Regulation F has been announced for VGC, and that goes from, I want to say, December until February. So people are like, oh, obviously that's like the last regulation we have in Scarlet and Violet before Champions comes out, and it switches over to Champions. So does this lend a possibility that we see Champions in February? Who knows? But that's speculation. We can talk about that at some other point if we want to. Yeah, so it's announced for March 5th. It is the Animal Crossing / Minecraft / Dragon Quest Builders / whatever you want to call it. And it looks good. We've talked about the game already a little bit, so if you want to see what that is all about, then there's content already about it, and it is something we can. I'm going to look at the stream. I've done about Mirdo playing it and stuff like that. But the only thing I want to talk about with the announcement of it is going to be a key card functionally. So what a key card is there's a lot of data on the card itself that you put into the Switch, but then you also then have to download stuff on top of that. So it is the key card, and then it's a 10 gigabyte download, which a lot of people are like, this sucks, this is terrible, blah blah blah. I'm of the opinion that it literally doesn't matter. Who cares? But then the other argument is, do you bother buying a physical copy? Do you just go for a digital one instead? Which, again, is a conversation we can have about that now. But more than anything, it's just to let you guys know that the announced date is March 5th. Mirdo, thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's a cool spin on the format, especially, like, I think the franchise really lends itself to these kind of games, to, like, the cozy type, to the city builders and all that kind of stuff, or whatever you want to call it, farm gig type, I guess.
Farmville.
It looks really fun. It looks really cute. I wonder how much it will do with like its ideas, because it, like the way it presented itself in the trailer, I fear that it might be a bit linear, because it's like, oh, you need this Pokemon to do a thing, so it's like, the more you unlock Pokemon, it just kind of like it locks all the options to customize behind all the Pokemon. So I wonder if it kind of feels like, okay, if I replay this game, it will always be the same journey. Kind of. That makes sense.
My closest comparable to that is like Slime Rancher felt that way a bit, where I played it in like early access years ago, and it was like, oh, you can kind of get this one first or that one first, but then you can't get this area until you have this one. And then once I played it later on, after early access, it was like, oh, this is exactly the same. Like, they've added a couple of extra things and cosmetics and stuff, but it still feels like the same game.
Yeah. I'm definitely very much looking forward, but yeah, that's something that I'm kind of fearing now, but it's early days. Like, there's no way of telling if that's realistic or not. So I think it looks promising. I think the Pokemon has been, like, obviously there's always been spin-offs, but I think they've kind of been sleeping on this kind of game to do with their franchise. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see where it goes.
I do wonder if it's a case of like Nintendo are like, well, we have Animal Crossing, so we don't really need to worry about this style of game. And now that now that Animal Crossing is done, but it's actually not, because it's got a January update coming out, they were like, oh, now's the time to put a Pokemon version of this on for a while.
Maybe. I think it's also the avalanche of all these like farm games of Stardew Valley and like all the ones that are very similar, where it's like, there's just infinite demand for these. Like, depending on your spin on it, you can absolutely sell these. Yeah, like, even if it's similar to Animal Crossing.
Cozy games like blew up in like 2020, and like they've just not gone anywhere since. Like,
yeah, Nintendo as always, fashionably late to the party. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Battle Royale.
Dude, the zombie game is going crazy.
All right. So because we've got quite a few things to talk about today, we are going to quickly run through the tournament, the Jesters Championship Series tournaments. We have 3 that have happened. We'll go through basically the top cuts, and then from there, if there's any decks that Mirdo and I maybe want to talk about, or any results we want to talk about, we will, but I'm not going to spend too much time on each one individually. So, first of all, we had the October Challenge, which had a top cut of 12 players. We had, I won't go through the names, I'll go through the decks, and we can highlight names later if we want to, when we're talking about how fun these decks are. From 1st to 12th, we have Ho-Ho Armarouge, Raging Ball Ogerpon, Gardevoir, Raging Ball Ogerpon, Dragapult, Joltik Box, Zerora, nope, that's not Zerora. That is Zorok, Grimmsnarl, Frostlass, and in 13th, because I've said, and Goldengo Lunatone, which is cool. Into Casual 29, we have Terrabox, Ceruledge, Gardevoir, Ceruledge, Roaring Moon, Ceruledge, Dragapult, Kangaskhan, Bufalon, Alakazam, Dunsparce. I did not realize the 2 decks I'm looking at playing are literally back-to-back there. That's hilarious. Grimmsnarl, Frostlass, and Goldengo Joltik. And finally, for Jester's Weekly Casual 30, we have from 1 to 17, our biggest ASIM top cut, which is kind of ridiculous. The deck that won that was Greninja EX. which is a list.
Let's go.
Mega Absol Box, Dragapult, Dust Noir, Festival Lead in 4th, hell yeah. Dragapult, Terrabox, Mega Absol, Grimmsnarl, God of War, Lunarox, Pidgeot Control made it to 11th, which is cool. Dragapult, Grimmsnarl, Charizard, Pidgeot, Goldengo, Rocks, and Terrabox. So is there any decks you want to kind of talk about there, Mirdo? Because I've got one or two I could definitely highlight.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of interesting ones. Greninja makes me quite happy because that was a deck that I looked at before the last set released. So that was like, I'll definitely have a look at that real quick. Also, shout out real quick to a couple of my German boys who are now a lot of times swarming the tournaments and doing really well in them. So yeah, you know who you are. Big shout out to all of you. If I look at the Greninja list real quick,
yeah, so
it definitely looks a lot like the one. Oh, there's the Dunsparce in there. Klefki.
Yeah, so that I believe is supposed to be like a counter for Grimmsnarl, not Grimmsnarl, for Cornerstone and stuff. But I think Greninja does the same. I suppose it doesn't do enough damage for a single knockout, so it's probably why they're doing Dunsparce EX on that. But yeah, this was Smokin' Phil's list. I don't know if it's their original list or where it's come from. So if you see the Smokin' Phil, feel free to comment, let us know. We have 3-1-2 Greninja, 2-1-1 Dust Noir, 2-2 Pidgeot EX, with one Pidgeotto in the middle, one Dunsparce, one Dunsparce EX, one Blood Moon Ursaluna, one Pheasantipity, one Klefki. Trainers, we have 2 Arven, 2 Lilies, 2 Hilda, 2 Iono, 2 Colrus, 1 Boss, 4 Buddy, 3 Ultra Free Rare Candy, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Switch, 1 Energy Search, 1 Super Rod, 1 Nesball, 1 Countercatcher, 1 Air Balloon, 1 Grand Tree, that's the A-Spec, and 1 Jamming Tower, and finally for energy, we have 4 Water Energy and 4 Ignition Energy, because Greninja wants to discard the energy anyway. Ignition functionally works as a double turbo energy for all intents and purposes without the -20, and it's gone anyway. So, yeah, real cool list. This is the kind of list I look at and go, I would love to try this out, but I would need to play it like 45 times off stream before I ever bring it to stream, because there's no way I'm going to figure this deck out playing it like one shot.
By the way, with Greninja, you're not really too worried about Cornerstone because Greninja EX goes through it. You are. I think the Dunsparce, I believe, is more of a. I mean, it's also good against Cornerstone, but I think you're looking more into the second attack, which goes through the Crustle.
Oh yes, you're right. Okay, yes, I said corrected. You're right.
It's a perfect 150. So if you have Jamming Tower, you go through and you can attack with it with 1 Ignition Energy.
Oh, that's
so
awesome. Actually,
that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. So it's very similar to the list that I looked at, which did really well in the Frankfurt regional. There's a few changes. Klefki's new. The Dunsparce is definitely new. But a lot very similar. I think it's a pretty cool list. I might check this out for potential for the cup, I guess, for the next cup, because I also really wanted to play the Dunsparce. Honestly, like that's a card I've always was like, oh, this has potential. I should try something with this.
Yeah.
And now somebody is realizing the potential, and I like it.
So just so the other 2 champions don't feel left out, the challenge winner was WizD with the Ho-Oh Rouge, and it was Wugtrio Mill with Terrabox for Casual 29. So yeah, really cool to see these tournaments grow more and more every week, which is insane.
And the meta is always very, very all over the place. And I think that's pretty cool.
Funky as hell. Like the amount of times you'll see like all Dragapult, like, and then no Dragapult. But to be fair, the top cut did have 4 Dragapult in the casual as well. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying running the Sunday tournaments. They're so busy now that I can't play them. Like, there's just it maybe feels insulting to say, but there's that many judge calls in the first 2 or 3 rounds that like Piano Fish cannot keep up. So I have to be available. It's again good problem to have. I'm really enjoying the popularity of these. All right, Mirdo, we've got 2 subjects for you and I to talk about, and one is more focused on you, one is more focused on me. And I've been doing a lot of talking already. So, Mirdo, how did Lille and Gdansk go?
Oh boy. So Lille was a very interesting one because I had the deepest deck panic that I've had in a long time.
You sounded like
no idea
in the way you were talking about what deck to go for.
Yeah, I think I switched my in the week upgoing. leading up to, I think I switched what deck I was going to play like every day of that week. Like every day, another deck felt good, it sounded good in my head. And I think 2 weeks before, somebody dropped a Champao Baxcalibur list. I retweeted it on Twitter if you want to check it out. It's a pretty cool list because now with Lily's determination and with the new stadium, there's a lot of cool things you could do. Like you can pull out a lot of energy out of the deck with your Chimpaos. You can make a lot of things possible. You are basically immune to being active locked or sob locked or clutch or whatever. Every type now has a Pokemon that can do like a retreat lock for some reason. So pick your favorite.
I mean, the most important one is grass because it has Bulbasaur. So
yeah. So I was at a big crisis, and I was like, okay, I think I'm just gonna play Chimpao Bax because it feels pretty good right now. I know it has bad matchups, but it felt the most like I wanted to just kind of have fun again and feel good about myself. And it felt in the moment, it felt like the best option to not hate myself. So I went with that. So I locked that in. We are in a big house, and we had some quite interesting options in our house. Like previously on the podcast, you might remember me shit talking the Slowking deck, and Marius was a big defender of the deck.
Top
and
16 Slowking deck.
Was determined to lock it in for both Lille and Gdansk.
Top 32 Brisbane Slowking deck.
Yeah. So I started to kind of believe in it because I saw it in action. I was like, oh, maybe there's something there. Like it's better now, definitely. So Lille was interesting because it went fairly well. Like I had so many such nice players to play against. I had very pleasant conversations. I had like I think 2 French people only, and just like everything, and like the French people also were super nice. Like I think I made that sound bad, but like everyone was really nice. I had a really pleasant time, and like the current meta is so weird because I also played Chimpao in part because it has a good matchup into the Absol box, which I thought would be quite popular, but then it ended up not really being popular, or not as much as I hoped. And I ran at so many weird matchups. Like I played against the Amurush Ho-Oh box. I played against Mega Minetric,
Yep.
which is a really weird matchup. Because you think like because you can't one-shot it because it has the attack where it does 120 damage, and then you can't the Mega Minetric doesn't take damage from basics.
Yep.
So I can't one-shot it with a Chimpao, but I can free-shot it with baxcalibur, and they two-shot me, meaning that I'm still up at the end of the exchange. It's wacky, but it works. And I almost beat them, but unfortunately I came up like I lost the second game in the +1 overtime turn. So unfortunately that was a tie. And that was kind of the theme of the day, because a lot of times I came up short just like at the very end. For example, when I was at 2-1-2, I played against a Gardy Jelly player, and we said, okay, let's gentlemen, because if we tie, we're both eliminated. So let's at least like keep one of our chances alive. And it came down to basically, okay, so we kept playing a bit to figure out like a gentleman's. And I was like, okay, if I get the out to energy, I win. But unfortunately I didn't. So I conceded to them because they would probably have it the turn after. And there was just a couple of those, and I was pretty hopeful, honestly. Like it went fairly well. Like I said, I went to 2-1-2, and then I lost 3 in a row, and I was devastated. by the end of it. Like, it felt pretty good. I had good games. I felt the deck went well, and then in the end, it just kind of exploded and didn't work anymore. And I was very bad at handling that. And yeah, so
Your run was bookended by Frostless Monkey Dory.
yes,
Was that not Grimstar? Was it just Frostless Monkey Dory?
No, it was Grimstar.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know why it shows like that, but yeah.
Yeah, there are Grimstars in there. That's weird. That's so bizarre. I don't know why they've done that.
Yeah, yeah. So my matchups were quite weird, but let me pull up the data that you pulled up.
Yeah, whenever you talk about the results, I always have this stuff up so I can see.
Yeah, of course. But like, yeah, it's so weird because it felt really good, and then it just completely crumbled in the end, and then you stand there with a 2-4-2, which is maybe my worst tournament result in ever, and it just looks so bad, but it didn't feel like that. Like, it's yeah, it just felt kind of rough by the end of it because of that. But yeah, I ran into like the Grimstar. It's just not really good matchup and stuff like that.
Judging from your results, Mirdo, yeah, 2-4-2 might be your worst.
Yeah,
you have some 3-4-2s, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, that wasn't the old format, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On the other hand, Marius gave me was very interesting because he started 0-2 and then 1-3 and then fought themselves back to 4-4. So I had a good start and ended terribly. Marius managed to like start terribly and then get back to it, like get back to a pretty solid result. Like 4-4 looks good on paper. So and Marius was basically at the point where it's like, okay, I think I just hit the bad matchups early, and if that swings, I'll do better next time. So let's look at results from Gdansk.
Speaking of 4-4.
Not quite. Yeah, so oh yeah, right. So between Lille and Gdansk, obviously there was only a week between. I met good friend of everyone, honestly, because he's just a good guy. Lucas Jit, I believe that's how I pronounce the last name. I met them at the train station in Brussels, and they said, yeah, they played Dragapult Asnor, and I was like, oh, can you send me the list? And then I looked at it once, and it was like, oh, this looks fun. Then I played it at a challenge on Tuesday because I had a day off because it was my birthday. Shout out. And it felt pretty good. And it felt pretty good. I was like, okay, I played a whole 4 games with this. Let's lock it in. So I locked it in for Gdansk. And honestly, it felt pretty good.
Before you carry on,
start as well.
Did Lucas play the deck?
In Lille, he did, yes.
But not in Gdansk.
Yeah, I think he played Gardevoir.
Right, so that is the second time he has done that to somebody in this podcast, because he gave me the Archaludon list I played at EUIC and then played something else instead. I think he played Snorlax instead. And I was like, what the hell happened? I mean, the deck did me well, but...
No. So, I mean, he did tell me that that's what his plan is. Like, I didn't run into that like, oh, what the hell? But yeah, that was always the plan. Like, he said he's probably going to play Gardevoir, but I was like, hey, can you send me the list? And he's like, yo. So I was like, yippee, and then I played that. It wasn't a crazy list, I don't think. It's like a pretty standard Gardevoir list. Dragapult list without candies. Was pretty fun. I started with a really good 4-1, so I was really confident. And then stuff just started to hit the fan. Deck completely collapsed. Round 6, I played against Gardevoir, and that just didn't do great. Like, that just not a very fun matchup, and I just kind of didn't do well there. And then round 7, disaster strikes because I hit one of my Airbnb mates who I shared the housing with. And we are both at the point we are both 4-2. So we could ID and play, like hope to both win next round. I was very much open for that because I knew that it is a rough matchup for me because he played the Absol box, which is funny because when I played Bax Champao, I wanted to see Absol box and I didn't get it. So now I played a deck where I don't want to see it, and I hit it finally.
The 0-6 and 2 Airy. That's mean.
Yup. It's that's a mean list. So we say, okay, I say, because he doesn't seem to be really responsive to an ID, I was like, okay, let's play. If it's a 1-1, we'll call it a tie. If it's a 2-0, then or 1-0 or whatever, then it's a win for whoever. Because it's a weird situation because like if one of us wins, then one of us is theoretically safe into day 2 because you can ID the last round. So they beat me because the matchup's really rough, and also they just hit the nuts every time. Like with Dragapult, most of your game plan is like, okay, I'm gonna like do something with Dusknoir, Iono late, and then make a really awkward board for them to recover from. And that just didn't really work because 1, they played Psyduck, 2, they played the as you said, Sorosix and Airy and stuff like that. It's just mean. And so I do that. Like I take out I think some draw, and then I take out the Psyduck, and I'm like, okay, this is if there's a way where so that I own them to 3 or something like that. So basically, if I manage to just have one turn where they can't take a knockout, then I probably have gamed the round after. And they don't only draw into one of their outs, they draw into every possible out. It's insane because they're basically, my plan to work, it needed the Dusknoir. It took off next turn, so they had 2 prizes, and I had I think also 2 or something. I don't remember. So basically, it needed the Dusknoir to go off. They hit, and I cleared the Psyduck that turn. So basically, what they do is they get the Psyduck back. So I needed them to not get Psyduck back. I needed them to not get Fez, and I needed them to not get Boss. So basically, if they don't get Psyduck back, they can kill anything on the bench, and then I can't use Dusknoir anymore. They managed to have all of that in hand, so that's great. So I lose that game, and my friend goes into day 2, right? No, because my friend then hits Stefan Ivanov. And if you know anything about IDing into day 2 and top players, then you know that top players at 5-2 won't ID into day 2 because that makes basically because they always want to go for top 8 or just and like with a 5-2-1, it's very hard to get there.
So
at this point you can, but like it's very tough.
Now with how they've got things set up, as long as you have a perfect day 2 or phase 2, you're absolutely fine. But that's where the pressure then comes in. Like you can't afford to drop a game. And the thing that I've always heard mentioned by top players is like you're going to be playing against a much higher average of player in phase 2, so you want to be able to afford a loss or a tie in phase 2. So the more you can avoid that in phase 1, the better. So it makes sense as to why they wouldn't want to ID you, which is, it's annoying. And I kind of went, oh, that sucks at the time. But yeah, it's
like obviously no hard feelings or anything. It's obviously in your right to not wanting to ID. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So and then last round I get like clowned on by some Seolech because I was like, okay, if I win last, I'm at 5-3, I'll be able to get top 500 points at least. You know, that's 40 points for the bank. Because so far I played 3 regionals and I got 20 points out of it. So it's like kind of rough so far. And I lose that one as well. I get clowned on by Seolech, and I think my deck just kind of was like, nah, we're going home early, actually. You're not playing properly. We're going home. And so, yeah, that was just felt bad. So I end again with 3 losses in a row with a 4-4, which obviously no like shade, but it felt so bad because it was the same ending as I had with Genpao, so I was like, why did I even bother with the top deck? And 2, it's the same score that Marius had with Slowking last week. And for that to make sense, why that's not a dig, we go to Marius's run of this tournament. Just to close the other chapter. One thing that I found really cool about my run is almost all of my opponents made day 2.
I saw that.
Yeah, so 5 people out of my 8 opponents, 5 players made day 2. And 2 of us went 5 and 3. So I had an amazing tiebreaker actually. So yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, so going over to Marius. Marius had not a great time with Slowking. Marius started 0-4-1.
When I checked in on everyone's results like midway through the day, I saw that and said to Kaya, I don't think I'm going to get Marius on the podcast anytime soon. He's not going to be happy.
Dude, Stuttgart is his day.
Poor my friend.
my friend. Yeah, so Marius did a funny thing where he said, I think he said he was actually the bottom table. And he won his game against the Ceruledge and then dropped. So that was interesting. Yeah, so he dropped with 1-4-1. Not a great day in the office for him. And he's now back to Raging Bolt because other person did well alert. Friend of the podcast, Lara, had an amazing run. Went undefeated in day 1. I believe 602? Let me check. Yeah, so phase 1, sorry. Phase 1 was 602.
Was Lauren not like top seed at one point as well?
Yes, for a very short time.
They were cool.
I believe before like the round was called in like after round 9 or something for a second. I had a screenshot. I think we posted it somewhere.
Yeah, I guess where I saw
it. Yeah. So Lara did really, really well with Raging Bull, which I think was a pretty good call. Almost like a bit of a stroke of luck in my opinion, because after Gardevoir, after Dragapult was like the most played in was it? No, Gardevoir was the most played. In Lille, I definitely expect the Gardevoir more to go up because it did really well. I think it's a really solid pick at the moment. There's a lot of fun variants. But Gardevoir actually went down, and that's like the only like the really bad matchup at the moment for Raging Bolt. So Lara managed to hit like the meta really well because like a lot of the other decks are really good matchups for Raging Bolt right now. Like your Dragapults, your Charizards, Goldengo's pretty good, honestly. Joltik, if you still play the Moth, then Joltik's also really good. Grimmsnarl, I think, should also be pretty good, depending on like if you get to like you have a lot of pace, so you should be able to outpace in most games. I think.
I would disagree that Dragapult's a good matchup for Raging Bolt. I think that's quite a bad matchup these days. If you look at the matchup percentages, it's definitely more Bolt favored. It definitely used to be more Raging Bolt. It's funny because I was listening to a podcast earlier and they were talking about how Raging Bolt's actually like not the best of choices at the moment because it has actually like quite a lot of bad matchups. But clearly Laura proved them wrong. Like that's skill diff, really.
Yeah. So maybe we can. I mean, I already asked Laura, and they were definitely open to come on the podcast. So maybe we can have something with that.
Yeah, we've talked about potentially having like 2 or 3 people on for like a bonus podcast at some point.
Yeah,
and going through like how did your games go, blah blah blah. So.
But you know, currently we barely have time for the main podcast, so we'll see about that.
I had to schedule it today.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, Lara was on for top 8 for a long time. Unfortunately, got like 2 unfortunate losses against 2 really good players, Hermione Hilati and Calvin Connor. But also, I believe what she said was that she basically bricked those games because Zoroark should also be pretty good, honestly. At least I think. I guess I think Yveltal lock is kind of bad, but yeah. But yeah. Apparently just bad luck with that, but Lara managed to get top 22, so that's I believe, that's 2 displays and $1,000. But not out of our local group. It's not the highest placement at a regional because that's yours truly. Let's go. Yeah, no. This is definitely the bigger accomplishment because one, it was a tournament I paid money, and two, it had more players than the tournament I went top 18 at. And also, Laura didn't have a friend that they faced in, in day two that could like, forfeit a game to them. Yeah, no, I'm very proud of Laura. They didn't have that much time to prepare. That's why they locked in just the deck that we're most comfortable with, and it turned out to be a really good pick. So
I think that speaks volumes about like when it comes to deck choices for regionals and things like that. Playing something that maybe isn't great under the circumstances, but something inside and out is like the deck you choose rather than going even with a week's notice, maybe even 2 weeks, switching to another deck. Like it's we've both run afoul of that kind of thing. Me especially, like the amount of times I've gone, oh, this deck feels good, this deck feels good, but actually all these decks feel terrible. Blah, blah, blah. Like locking in Raging Bolt 4 Frankfurt, while I didn't do as well obviously as Lara, it's the best I've done in over a year, which is insane to think about. And it's just like I locked in the deck that I knew how to play best, and it worked for me. Obviously, if I put more time into it, blah, 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 it probably would have gone even better for me. But because it was the deck I knew best, like it was the right choice. And
that's why I was like, okay, I am gonna like I was just in a really big crisis about it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna log in Chien-Pao because I think it feels good at the moment.
Yeah.
The meta is a bit like the matchups are not great, but it felt at that moment the best. So I'm just gonna lock in and play what I feel comfortable with. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out as well, but like I had a good start, I had a good time. And the bonus with Chien-Pao as well, with decks like that are very off meta, is I had at least, I think, 3 or 4 people who were like, when I flipped over Frigibax or Chien-Pao, whatever, they were like, yo, I love that deck, because it was my first deck ever I played, or whatever. Like, I'm so excited to play a Chien-Pao.
Look at their watch and go, weird, it's not 2023.
People were really excited to see Chien-Pao. Like, they were so happy to see it. It's great.
Awesome.
But yeah, that was very fun. But yeah, it's definitely like, I think a lot of times you could maybe make a better choice for the meta, but if you are like just tossing a turning and like getting in your own head, then sometimes maybe just picking the one you're more comfortable with to just get the decision over with so you can focus on the tournament is probably better.
So that segues beautifully into our final subject, which is all about me. Actually, it probably does reflect on Mirdo a little bit, but like actually like more specifically into one of these subjects rather than both. So I've teased going to Birmingham regionals because I think I'm in a position in my life where I'm allowed to tease that I'm doing a thing. First of all, with the baby, with the baby on the way, EUIC is 100% out of the equation because
it's too close to the due date.
Mate, it's not just too close. It's like the worst possible time it could be going because so what they always tell you, this is a bit, probably boring for the Pokemon enjoyers who are here, but they always tell you to be ready at least 3 weeks ahead of like the due date. That is EYC weekend.
Oh, really?
Like that's when you can expect like I hate saying normal, but that's when you can expect like a normal pregnancy to potentially like culminate, basically, like because the actual like it's a 40-week period, but like when did it really actually start? Blah blah blah. Like
of course.
It's a bit odd. So like 37 weeks onwards is like when you can expect to be needed, basically, and that is EYC weekend. And Kate said you can guarantee, like, if I go to EYC, she'll be contacting me midday Saturday, going, I'm going.
I'm going.
Oh, I need to get back from London in 4 hours. So anyway.
Can't you count the rings on the baby?
No, that's not how that works.
Oh, okay.
They do age them by length, though, which is kind of cool.
Oh, interesting.
And I get to talk about this now. It's amazing. So every Sunday, Kaya updates me on what fruit or vegetable the baby is the same size as, which is very fun. I love it. It's a highlight of my Sunday. And they start measuring from like head to like bottom. Is like the length they go with. Then it changes from head to like feet, which is a very funny thing because this might be too much inside baseball. During the scan yesterday, the baby's feet were by its head. So which is normal, by the way. That's not. We haven't got a a double jointed
Mutant.
baby, as far as you know.
Yeah.
Don't say mutant. That's mean, man. You can't say that. But like,
I don't know about babies.
It was really funny because like, how would you even measure that? Anyway,
all I know about babies is that I can attack for free and have no retreat cost.
It's true. Babies do have the best attacks. Anyway,
That's awesome.
But yeah, so we had some weird ones. So basically, one time it was banana, which is like, how do you measure a banana? Bananas,
Yeah, it's like
they could be anything. Well, first of all, no, that's not
it's not straight.
They could be anything. Like bananas don't have a normal size. You can get a bunch of bananas, and they're like 5. Anyway, then a carrot was another one, and it's like, I've seen carrots like this long.
I've seen massive carrots.
Huge carrots. What are you talking about? When it was a mango, that was my favorite. It was like, oh, I know what mango is. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sounds like it shrinks as well, but that's when they transition from like one weighing scale to another. Oh, it's bizarre. Anyway, enough about.
You have weekly scans.
No. We you know the baby based on like on average. This is what it should measure as, basically.
Right. Okay.
Anyways, to get off fruit and babies. I am still looking at Birmingham, and obviously what I was talking about was I don't know whether I'm going to do VGC or TCG. Now I've done a bit of soul searching, and I've been thinking about things and talking to people about stuff. I think this decision might get made for me, by the way. I'm going to preface everything with this. Like, if registration doesn't go my way, I might be forced into a different choice anyway, so that's fine. But I'm definitely leaning more towards TCG now, because as mentioned earlier, like watching somebody else play the game from like relatively new and seeing how much they enjoyed it and stuff kind of like rekindled my like for it a little bit. I found at least 2 decks that I like the playstyle of that are off meta decks, because I'll be honest, I don't really enjoy any of the meta decks. Surreal Edges are like, I would count that as meta, and I do enjoy that, but that's just because it's a big basic and it just hits hard. Whereas the Surreal Edge, not big basic, sorry, it's functionally like a big basic. It just hits hard.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? You know, it's Goldengo-esque. But yeah, so I've been looking at Mega Kangaskhan, which is like one of my it's toxic deck without being a toxic deck, because it's like basically stall. But it's, you know, big health, big healing, sometimes big damage, which big fan of as well. Like the fact they can hit for like 700 damage. The coin flips go your way is insane. It's very fun. But then the other one I've been looking at as well is Alakazam, which I love a single prize deck. I was one of those people that like really tried to make Ancient Box work when it was like a decent-ish deck. I tried to make Festival Lead work, which is fine. United Wings, not great at all. But like Alakazam actually looks like it has promise. And then finally, the deck that we haven't had a chance to test yet because we've not done any of the proxy stuff for a while as well, is the Dark Box deck, which is like powered by Toxtricity. And I'm literally only looking at that because of Toxtricity. Like, I love Toxtricity as a Pokemon so much, but the ability is really cool as well. So there's a few options there. Like I said, this might be null and void. Like, I might just get told TCG's filled up and I'm going to have to go VGC. But, like, the thing, again, that kind of fueled the decision, and again, I talked to Mirdo about this, is it's very similar to Pokemon in that learning formats is a thing in VGC. Yeah. So, I think learning at the end of a block or end of a game cycle, I should say, is very similar to, like, learning at the end of rotation when it comes to Pokemon. Because, like, you could start playing a deck a month before rotation and be like, oh, this is amazing, and then find half of it's gone. And it's like, oh, okay, that kind of sucks. Whereas I think if you start after rotation, it's like, oh, you know what you're playing with. You know it's only going to be additionals for, like, the next few months. I think that just works out a bit better. And I think VGC is very similar in that they are going to be transitioning to a new game soon in Pokemon Champions. That's going to come with new mechanics to learn. I don't have to deal with, like, the Terra. Like, right now I've got to learn Terra. I've got to learn what's likely to be Terra. How do I counter it? Blah, blah, blah. That's not going to be an issue once Pokemon Champions comes out, at least for a while. Like, they can't.
They already confirmed that not coming over.
I believe no. So it is. Terra's still going to be a thing, but for the regulation that'll be coming out, I believe it is only Mega Evolution, and that's what I've been told anyway. And I don't know the history of VGC in the same way I don't know the history of TCG, but I don't know how often they combine mechanics. Like, I don't think Z moves and Mega Evolution was a thing at the same time, for example, or
no,
Gigantamax and Terra was never a thing at the same time.
Yeah, but also we haven't had like the whole will have one new mechanic for every generation hasn't been around for that long. Like, The first one was Mega Evo, so that was
Mega
Gen
Ego's been around
6.
for a very long time, buddy.
Yeah, but it's Gen 6. So,
I
like, if we talk
guess.
about generations, like, we had Mega Evos, we had the Sun and Moon Z moves, or whatever they're called. We had
Dynamax.
what did Sword and Shield have? Dynamax, and now we have Terra. So that's 5 different mechanics.
Yeah.
4. So we haven't had much time, like, obviously, to have them combined.
Yeah, so
that's what I mean.
We've had the opportunity but what I mean is we don't have crossovers like we do in TCG. So we still got Terra right now, and we've also got Megas. At some point, we will lose Terras and maybe just have Megas for a bit. Then the next mechanic will come out. Whereas I know at the moment VGC doesn't have that problem, but I think that is a limitation of the games themselves. Because they just don't want to include those in the, like, you're not going to see them include. Let's reverse. They didn't include Z moves in Sword and Shield because mechanically that's just not something they did. Whereas Champions, they do now have the possibility of doing that. So I think for now, just being able to learn like Mega Evolutions and assume they're going to stay in the status quo because Pokemon loves that. It's only going to be like one mechanic you have to deal with in each game. So I think just wait until Champions comes out and see what their format is first, which should just be Mega Pokemon. It's probably like the way I'm leaning right now, which means obviously we're not going to have that for Birmingham. We already know that it's going to be Regulation F until Birmingham. So that would involve for me is like not only learning all of VGC, but also learning the options and limitations of Regulation F, which will then not apply to like the next game, if that makes sense, at least for the first block. So rather than trying to get all that in my head and then it not being a thing anymore, I thought I'll stick with TCG. I know TCG much better. I already had 4 years now experience in the game, so it makes more sense to just stick with what I know and just especially now that I'm enjoying it again as well. I think just sticking with it is fine. The other side of it as well is I've been doing the grand challenges, and as much as I keep saying VGC is going to be casual for me, I cannot not be competitively minded. And the fact that like the last grand challenge I went like 1-4 or 1-5 I think it was, and I was just like, this sucks, I'm just not having a good time. It just makes me go, okay, I actually need to learn the VGC. I need to put time into this. I don't have the time to put into this. So again, just sticking to TCG where I already know what's going on for the most part just makes so much more sense.
Yeah, I get that. It's definitely like the whole priorities thing and like deciding what's the best way going forward and like what you're gonna have the best result in. I'm definitely struggling with that a bit at the moment because, as I said, last 3 regionals didn't go that great. So I'm definitely wondering if like going as hard as I planned on doing is like that good for me or like that useful. So my plan, like I already booked and planned everything up until like for this year. So Stuttgart is already paid for and everything else. Now I'm currently looking at like everything beyond that. So my plan was to do Birmingham, London, Utrecht, and Prague. So it's definitely become a thing of like, okay, what do I want to do? Do I maybe want to cut one of them because I now also have I'm now in a relationship? Shout out. I'm making this a thing now.
Okay, that's fine. Just like make an awesome source of thing in our text conversations.
Yeah, it's awesome source. I've been slowly like sprinkling that into every conversation, and it's been going awesome sauce.
Yeah, but that's awesome sauce.
Yeah, so it's become. I'm definitely currently having a bit of struggle with deciding where I want to go and what I want to do. Like, it's definitely become a thing of like, oh, I want to like with Birmingham. It's become a thing of okay, I just want to meet Jester again. So I'm like, do I just basically go because of that? And also because I can lodge with him.
It does sound like you're, and I hate to say that you're experiencing this, but it sounds like you're having a Jester's 2025 season where you were like, yeah, I'm going to do all of these, and then they went shit, and then it's like, well, maybe I do need to cut this off at some point, and that's what I did with VUIC, like, because I knew it was obviously my country, which helps, but like, because I knew that was like the last chance to do anything significant when it comes to championship points, I was like, we'll see how this goes. And then if this goes terribly, we just don't book anything. And that's what I did. I ended up cutting off like the last 2 or 3, well, it was regionals and specials, but it does sound like you're on the same path this year, which sucks. But then it just means next year we're just doing better, right? Like
maybe
the only way is up, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. It's become definitely a bit of a game of priorities because I noticed that I just have a lot on my plate. And it's like I might be switching jobs next year as well. I need to kind of think about that, what I'm going to do with that. And like, yeah, it's just become a bit of a thing. And I'm definitely wondering where to go, what to do. And I just kind of need to get my head free. It didn't help that I've been sick and just didn't have much like availability in terms of brain power.
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting that back. So ideally I can sort that out. Stuttgart is definitely going to be interesting. I think at this point I might just try and do like the thing with London, right? With EOIC. I've been to London so many times now. It's quite expensive, but it also feels like missing out on the IC because it's so big and so important.
Yeah.
It feels bad.
It
feels like basically like capitulating. Is that a word?
Sure, why not? It basically feels like if you miss an international, that your hopes for Worlds is like dead, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's that important. Are you Googling capitulate right now?
No, absolutely not.
No, I get it, and like I said, it was something to me last season.
Capitulate, yeah, that's a word.
I planned on potentially doing NAIC last year, but it literally hinged on EUIC going well as well, and it just it did until it didn't, until I ran into 2 God of War back to back, which was infuriating. Right. But yeah, no, it is. I think at some point it is sensible to kind of go again. We've done this before. It's almost like an F1 analogy where it's like you push as far as you can until you can't. And it's like, well, we're not going to win the Constructors' Championship this year. Let's put all our time and money into developing for next season. And it does feel like that with Pokemon. And it's what I did. It's what I did last year, and I was going to do anyway. And then this year was going to be a bit more of a push season, but obviously it hasn't been because of my self-employment situation, the baby situation, etc. So next year, I'm like, yeah, cool. Hopefully, we're in the position to actually push. And I think that's taking the year off has definitely helped me. I think. I'm not saying you need to take a year off, but I'm saying like. I think there is definitely a point where you go, okay, if I'm going to do the IC, maybe that's where I go. If it doesn't go well, we cut all but one of the next events, maybe.
Yeah,
because the FOMO is there. Like, I fully appreciated that I wasn't doing Gdansk. I really missed it, dude. I love Gdansk so much. Just not even playing Pokemon. Like the place is amazing.
Yeah, Gdansk looks great.
It's gonna be the same with Stuttgart as well. Like the fact I'm not doing Stuttgart it's. I've done that 2 years running now, and it was like. While it's not in the best of locations, they've both been like really fun regionals at least.
Yeah.
And yeah.
One year we went to the museum.
We did go to a museum. It was cool. We had burgers.
Yeah,
and I ordered.
Yeah.
And I ordered Mikasa bitter.
What?
I ordered Mikasa bitter. And it always makes my friend laugh.
Yeah, it's become a running gag with us now
Yes.
in the German circles. Mikasa bitter. Yeah, it's definitely like it's become a bit of a thing, especially with like pre-Lil. I definitely was also in that just I don't really enjoy Pokemon at the moment, or like I don't really know what deck I want to play. Nothing feels really great. But also like that kind of push from behind where it's like, oh, you had such an amazing start to the locals.
Yeah.
So it feels almost like, oh, if you are not pushing for Worlds, you are kind of wasting your time. Like I think playing Chien-Pao and playing Dragapult like helped me get a bit back into the right mindset, because Chien-Pao was a lot of fun and I think I played it really well. Mm-hmm. Similar with Dragapult. Like I think with both decks I played really well. Like I made obviously you make mistakes, but like I think it was very limited and I felt really good about the decks. Just kind of it felt more like now that I'm in hindsight and can like look at it more objectively, it just feels like the days just kind of went away from me. Like Chien-Pao was just the wrong choice for the meta. Like that's just correct.
Dragapult, you clearly start off incredibly strongly, and it's like if the matchup results or the matchup roulette, or the deck just goes any other way for one of those matches, then you're in day two.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, that's it. Like, I just had like 2 very bad games. Like the round 6 and 8, I just had really bad starts and like couldn't get into the game. And also Gardevoir and Ceruledge, not really the best matchups you can get. And round 7, obviously, maybe the worst matchup with Absol. And also playing against my friends just kind of sucks. Yeah, it's absolutely like it's what I said with Frankfurt as well. Like I went 4-3-1, I believe. So it's like, or which I keep saying with my Utrecht run last year, where I came 18th. I literally was on the winning in last round, and I played against the worst matchup. And the only way I got to day 2 was because they bricked twice, and I like beat them in two rounds. So, like literally the difference between top 32 or almost top 16, I was tied into top 16, and they won over. You go home and get nothing, sir. Is literally sometimes just a round.
Yeah.
So there's like there's a lot of skill, obviously. There's a reason why the top players always tend to be on top. But there is absolutely still a card game, and you always see top players also just not performing.
Yeah.
That always happens.
Like, even at a low level, you can see the same thing. Like, again,
absolutely.
we're talking about Frankfurt. My last matchup was a Raging Bolt Mirror, but they were running the Owls build, and I was running the No Owls build. And it was like, 9 times out of 10, they're winning, because like the Owl build is just better. Like, you can present that one prize board state, and it is a bit more frustrating to play around. They can absolutely like capitalize. But because I went second the first game, so that helped. First, and then that might be the wrong order. Whatever. The point is, because they missed the knockout in our 1-1 set, I took the first 2 prize knockout. It just snowballed from there for them. And any other time, if they just pulled the right card, that was it. And again, you can draw it back to my first near day 2 in Liverpool. If I'd have got that, because it was a Roaring Moon Mirror, and because I went second, 9 times out of 10, I'm winning that match, because Roaring Moon was so consistent back then. The amount you would almost, again, 9 times out of 10, you're probably getting that knockout because just everything goes the right way. But I just missed it, bless you, and I'm not kidding you, 1 card, because I top decked it the next turn. That would have been the game, and I would have been into my first day 2 in my first regional. Second regional, sorry. But like I said, it goes both ways. Like, I think you will have periods of bad luck, and sometimes you'll have periods of good luck. And I think you kind of have to cope with the bad when it happens, knowing full well that at some point you're going to go against an opponent who's amazing or the perfect count to your deck, but they're bad luck. It's their turn, and then you get the win.
Yeah, it's absolutely like I said, I was incredibly devastated after my runs in Lille and Gdansk, and it was kind of hard to deal with at the time. But now looking back, it's literally like I said, honestly bad choice for the meta, and just kind of bad luck for both. Bad luck for both. Bad choice for Lille. And yeah, I definitely am now feeling a bit better about myself. I think I might be in a better state now. I'm still having the issue where it's very hard to like choose the right deck, 1 for me and 2 for the meta, because as I said, like the meta it's very fun that it's so diverse. I think that's pretty cool that you can basically jump. It's very cool that you can basically have a day 2 have a good result with any deck.
Yeah.
But it also feels frustrating when you like be like, oh, I made a good choice for the meta, but I just didn't hit what I needed to hit. So it's the same with like that's kind of the issue with playing the top decks in a meta like this. For example, with Dragapult, where you like if you play Chen Pao, it's like, okay, I have counters against a lot of the counters you play against the top decks. So against all these kind of decks, you're really good. Like with Chen Pao, you're good against all the weird stuff.
Yeah.
But you're bad against like most of the meta. And with Dragapult, you are pretty good against pretty much all of the meta. but you're really bad against all the weird stuff that plays really weird counters, and like, yeah. So it's a weird it's a very weird trade-off to make, and I'm not really sure where I'm going with with Stuttgart. Like I said, I'm definitely playing that. I like Dragapult. I feel like it might not be too good into Stuttgart. I know. I just have a bit of a hunch. I might be testing out that like dark box that Jester posted on Jester at Jester. What's it?
At
Tag
Trainer
at this point?
Jester.
Trainer Jester. Check that out on Twitter. But yeah, it's I don't know. I might also. I honestly, I think the next deck I'll play on live will be the Greninja list from the tournament, from the online tournament. Honestly, I think I'm gonna give that a go. See how that goes.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Right, I think with that we'll call an end to the podcast. Before we go though, I will quickly shout out my own Metafy because I can. I've actually started updating it a little bit. So there are beginner's guides going out for Phantasmal Flames for, I'd say, more off-meta decks than anything else, because I don't think I need to provide stuff for meta decks. I don't really play them, so I'm probably not the best guy to ask. But they are going up daily until the release of Phantasmal Flames on Friday. We started off with Alakazam went out on Monday. I've got one coming out today, which on time of recording is Tuesday. We should be Mega Kangaskhan. I think it's Mega Kangaskhan. Third one is ready to go for Wednesday, which will be out by the time you're hearing this. And I've got a couple more to write up as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how they're received, and hopefully they're just, more than anything, they're a resource for beginners. I don't want you, Mr. Pro Player who listens to this terrible podcast, going, oh, but I know all this. This is all basic stuff. Who doesn't know how to play this deck? One thing I love, and again, this ties back to VGC, I love it when someone tells me this is the basic game plan, because at least gives me like a thing to start with, and then if I see that's not working, I can go, oh, okay, I need to start pivoting slightly, or I need to try this alternate strategy. I don't think enough stuff gives you that. Like, I've checked out a couple of Metafy guides for different decks, and I'm like, this is good, but first of all, I've had to spend $10 on this, and secondly, it's almost a bit high level for me, because they're talking about all this extra stuff that I'm like, I don't even usually get that far thinking about it, and maybe that's my problem. But I think just having something a bit more beginner friendly, especially the cheaper decks as well, like Alakazam is a great example. It's a really cheap deck, and it's a good deck too, in my opinion. But yeah, so they're going up on Metafy, which is metafy.gg/@AceTrainerJester. That is updated, and it is on my Twitter as well. Speaking of Twitter, Mirdo, where can the good people find you?
At Mirdo TCG, and also in my house, and in Stuttgart in a month. No, half a month, like a couple of weeks.
You're welcome to say hi to Mirdo at his house, but not at Stuttgart.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you see me in Stuttgart, I require you to turn around and not talk.
He's like Medusa. Don't make eye contact. You'll turn to stone. Also,
exactly.
I love that Mirdo's got real confidence that we'll record another podcast because he's saying Stuttgart in a month. It's like, we're not going to do another podcast till after Stuttgart at this stage. So just be ready for me in Stuttgart.
No, I hope we make more episodes until then. But yeah, I think it's a 3 weeks. You asked where people will find me, and that's where they can find me. Yeah, no. If you want to say hi, obviously. As
usual, I'm on all the usual stuff at Ace Trainer Jester on everything but Twitter, which is Trainer Jester. I saw, again, I've mentioned this not too long ago. I saw somebody reply to me with Ace Trainer then 5 letters, and I'm like, must be nice. Must be nice. I've got the extra R there, so I can't just be jesty. Anyway, all the links are in the description below as usual. Maybe, if I've not been lazy, there might even be show notes so you can actually get links to things. We'll see. But until the next one, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, been an absolute pleasure to bring you another podcast. And I say watching, you might have been listening. Thanks for listening too. And until the next one, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Bye.